On the edge of the Great Warqa'a Desert lies one of the world's most remote and dangerous wilderness areas. Despite its unforgiving conditions, Warqa'a houses a large variety of fauna. To bear the long summers, these species tend to stick together, resulting in the formation of a certain self-sufficient ecosystem that Warqa'a is famous for. Our own high school, a magnificent natural marvel. Set miles away from any sort of human civilization, this story is a beautiful yet brutal tale of survival, trust, and adaptability.
Home to short productive winters and long brutal summers, our own high school, Warqa'a, is an incredible natural occurrence that cannot be summed up by just words or pictures. And this is why we invite you to venture into the unknown. It's too early for any sort of productive work. We'll find them more deeper inside. Here we see an excellent specimen in its natural habitat, deep into its winter hibernation. Commonly called students, the Homo studiosum have multiple variations. This particular type are commonly called the sleepers. They arrive early in an attempt to rest and prepare for the grueling day ahead. But unfortunately, this leaves them as prey to different species, particularly there you go. Notebooks have a lot of value in this particular ecosystem, and having the right kind of notes could easily mean the difference between life and death. It is very unlikely that this particular sleeper would make it through the day if it fails to repossess the notebook. Let's attempt to reawaken the beast in the hopes that it would have a show of might with the petty thief. Legend has it that trying to wake up a sleeper could most certainly lead to an instant death. This is not true, however. As you can see, the sleeper is in too much of a slumber. Oh God! Please. One of the most organized and remarkable behavior of the Homo studiosum is their designated recreational time. Nature's passionate evolution has allowed these specimens to devise new strategies to survive in the harsh conditions that arise in the daily stampede for food. Mutual respect and understanding was found to help fuel a faster and more efficient system of preying. As you can see here, students share an unspoken agreement to divide work on the daily tiring hunt for food. Not all of them are lucky enough to be at the front of the herd, and those who arrive late to the feast depend on the ones at the front. Societal relations strengthen as a result of this close interdependency. Some of the more selfish ones gather more food, but at the cost of the protection and respect of the herd. Besides societal progress, students also adhere to a strict food chain, with variants such as the sleepers and ordinary students coming at the bottom, followed by a more agile specimen known as the prefect coming at the top. Despite their agility, prefects do not tend to initiate aggression, and instead, they tend to laze around peacefully. There's one right now. Fascinating, isn't it?
After the prefects comes a more endangered subspecies, the captains. This stealthy hybrid manages to avoid predation entirely with its incredible speed, flitting rapidly from one job to another. Being the extremely elusive animals they are, the captains are unlikely to ever enter a classroom after maturing. It was due to this exclusivity that we were unable to film a captain.
In fact, it is so rare to chance upon a captain that there have only been a handful of recorded observations, all of which have been engraved upon this placket here. As you can see, the first contact was made in 2004, and there have only been 13 observations since. Although captains are top of the predatory line, they are not the apex members of this ecosystem. All variants of students are shepherded into maturity by another species, the teachers.
Existing as a loose classification of peaceful, agile creatures, these teachers are more empathetic and socially coordinated than the Homo studiosum.
One of the prime functions of a teacher in this interwoven ecosystem is the parental role that they play towards students. This phenomenon is more apparent in classrooms such as this one. No variant of student would be able to mature into a top predator without the asserting guidance of a teacher. Quick, look over there. Quite often, a student might mistake the calculated behavior of a teacher for aggression and assume an offensive front. This is counterproductive to the continued survival of the student in the outside world, and thus they immediately retract their behavior. The teacher's highly developed brain function allows her to process complex emotions, and ergo, they are quick to forgive as well.
However, interaction with the teachers isn't the only thing that's essential for survival. Tightly knit social groups of friends can also lower the mortality of a student. These strengthened groups, sometimes called a squad, are formed during the introduction of baby students to the high school ecosystem. Unable to fend for itself in the harsh conditions, these younger students can only survive with the help of a teacher or, of course, a squad. Squads are observed to last for multiple years. This particular one has escaped from their classroom during the peak activity in an attempt to get away from their intensive classrooms. Preferring to engage in a primal show of prowess instead of classroom responsibilities, these students do not realize that they are prone to being caught by a prowling teacher. Another remarkable thing about the student species is their long period of maturation. Indicated at ages as young as 5 human years, these fascinating animals can sometimes take up to 14 years to leave the nest.
And even then, some never truly feel ready for the real world.
It's not uncommon to chance upon a student reluctant to leap from the comfort and familiarity of the high school food web to the uncharted and unpredictable territory that lies outside its gates. And that's where the final responsibility of a teacher comes in, to ease the exit of a student into the wilderness and beyond. It is clear from the facial expressions of this particular student that it is ready to leave the nest. Even though it is unlikely that the student would return, the most beautiful part of it all is that it doesn't need to. Because despite being a species with a small short-term memory, a student couldn't possibly forget 14 years at Warqa'a. 14 long and incredible years of growing up, of survival, friendship, trust and love. In fact, for the student, not a day would go by without reliving the fantastic home that made it what it is. And for that, he would be eternally grateful.